Welcome to our deep dive into Hymn 17. Today we're going to explore a translation and explanation of this ancient Tamil poem. And you might be surprised by how relevant its message is about finding true happiness even today. Imagine you're feeling stuck in that endless cycle of wanting more, but never quite feeling fulfilled. Well, this poem might have some insights for you.
It's fascinating how this poem, written centuries ago, speaks to something so many of us struggle with even today. Right from the start, it challenges the idea that happiness comes from fulfilling all of our desires, especially those fueled by material things or just plain selfishness.
Yeah, I was immediately struck by that in the first couple lines. It's not that wanting things is inherently bad, but the poem seems to suggest that those foolish desires, as it calls them, can actually distract us from finding true and lasting happiness.
Yeah, it's almost like the poem is urging us to take a step back from that constant chase and ask ourselves, is this really going to bring me lasting joy?
Yeah.
Think about it. That feeling when you finally get that thing you've been wanting. A new gadget. A promotion. But the satisfaction fades so quickly. This poem was grappling with that human tendency centuries ago.
It makes you wonder if we're still falling for the same traps, just in different forms. We're bombarded with messages telling us to buy this, achieve that, look a certain way. It's easy to get caught up in that cycle, always feeling like we need more.
Absolutely. And that's where the poem's idea of Sanmarga comes in. It introduces this concept of a righteous path that leads to true fulfillment.
Okay, so we're supposed to let go of these foolish desires and find this righteous path. But what does that actually look like? Is it some strict set of rules?
That's where it gets interesting. The poem emphasizes that this path isn't about being exclusive or difficult to find. It's accessible to everyone, everywhere. It's more about aligning ourselves with a greater sense of purpose, living in a way that feels authentic and leads to genuine wisdom.
So maybe it's less about following a specific set of rules and more about figuring out what righteousness means in your own life. Could it be about dedicating your time to a cause you believe in? Or striving to make a positive impact on the world around you?
Exactly. The poem doesn't give us a prescriptive answer, but it invites us to reflect on our own values and actions. It's asking, what principles guide your life? Are you living in a way that feels aligned with your deepest sense of purpose?
That's a powerful question to consider. And then the poem introduces another layer to this whole idea, the element of divine grace. Now that might sound a bit abstract, but bear with me.
Even if you're not religious, I think this idea can still resonate. It speaks to that universal human longing to connect with something bigger than ourselves.
It's like that feeling of suddenly seeing the bigger picture, sensing a force, call it divine grace or the power of the universe, that's guiding and supporting us. Almost like we're not alone on this journey of figuring it all out.
Precisely. It's about acknowledging that there might be something more at play than just our own individual efforts, and that can be a source of comfort and inspiration, especially when we're facing challenges or feeling lost.
This brings us to a really intriguing part. The poem uses this powerful analogy of sleep and awakening. It compares waking up from sleep to the idea of people who've passed away rising.
It's almost like the poem is suggesting a connection between the physical and spiritual realms, hinting at some form of awakening that goes beyond our earthly existence.
I find it fascinating, even as a metaphor. Think about those times in your life when you experience a major shift in perspective, a kind of spiritual awakening, where you see things in a completely new light.
It's like shedding old beliefs or habits and emerging with a fresh sense of understanding and purpose. That can feel like a rebirth of sorts, even if you don't believe in literal resurrection.
And this leads us to another key idea in the poem, the inevitability of truth being revealed. It's as if the poem is saying we can't avoid confronting certain truths in our lives.
That resonates with me. No matter how much we try to ignore or deny those truths, they have a way of catching up with us eventually. It's like that saying, the truth will set you free. Even if it's a bit uncomfortable at first, it's through facing those truths that we can really grow and evolve.
And that seems to tie into the poem's message about finding true peace and happiness. It's not about clinging to those fleeting desires, but about embracing this journey of learning and understanding.
Exactly. The poem concludes by emphasizing that through realizing and embracing this path of righteousness, we can achieve true learning, spiritual understanding, and ultimately experience peace and bliss.
So it's not just about accumulating knowledge, but about embodying these principles in our lives, aligning our actions with our values. That's where true contentment seems to come from.
Precisely. It's about finding that harmony between our inner world and outer world.
We've unpacked a lot of wisdom from Hymn 17, but how can our listener actually apply these ancient insights to their modern life? What does it all mean for them?
That's the key question, isn't it? The poem offers a few valuable takeaways. First, it encourages us to be mindful of the desires we're chasing. Are they truly leading us towards happiness and fulfillment, or are they just distractions keeping us from what really matters?
It's like taking an inventory of our priorities. Are we spending our time and energy on things that align with our values? Or are we caught up in that rat race of chasing external validation and material possessions?
Exactly. And secondly, the poem reminds us that this path of righteousness is available to all of us. It's not about rigid rules or dogma, but about cultivating a way of being that's aligned with our deepest sense of purpose and integrity.
So it's more about a personal journey of growth and self-discovery.
Precisely. It's about continuously striving to become the best versions of ourselves, both for our own well-being and for the betterment of the world around us.
What I find really hopeful is how the poem suggests there's a force supporting us on this journey, whether you call it divine grace or simply the power of the universe.
Yes, and that support might not always be obvious or tangible, but it's there, guiding us toward our highest potential if we're open to receiving it.
It's like trusting the journey even when things get tough or we feel lost.
Absolutely. It's about having faith in the process of life, trusting that even challenges and setbacks are opportunities for growth and learning.
We've explored this Tamil poem's message about letting go of worldly desires and seeking a more fulfilling path. It's a timeless message that resonates across cultures and centuries.
What's truly remarkable is how relevant this ancient wisdom feels to our modern lives. We're still grappling with the same fundamental questions about the meaning of life, the pursuit of happiness, and the search for something greater than ourselves.
And this poem offers us a framework for navigating those questions, a roadmap for living a life of purpose and meaning, even amidst the complexities of the 21st century.
It's a reminder that the journey inward, the pursuit of self-knowledge and spiritual understanding, is just as important as our outward pursuits in the world.
As we wrap up our deep dive into Hymn 17, let's leave our listener with a thought-provoking question inspired by the poem's message. If you could let go of one foolish desire that's holding you back from truly living a fulfilling life, what would it be? It's a powerful question to consider, isn't it?
It really is. It challenges us to take a hard look at those deep-seated desires that might be driving our actions, but aren't actually leading us towards what matters most.
It's so easy to get caught up in what we think we should want, or what society tells us is important. But this poem encourages us to go deeper than that, to ask ourselves, is this really what I want? Or am I just chasing after it out of habit or because of external pressures?
Yeah, it's about becoming aware of those patterns and beliefs that might be keeping us stuck. Maybe it's the constant need for approval or the pursuit of material possessions that we think will bring happiness.
So if you're listening, take a moment to reflect on that question. What's one thing you could release? One desire you could surrender? What would it take to create space for something more meaningful and authentic in your life?
It might be a challenging process, but it can be incredibly transformative. By letting go of what no longer serves us, we open ourselves up to new possibilities, new experiences, and a deeper sense of purpose and connection.
It's like clearing out the clutter to make room for something beautiful and new to emerge. And remember, as you embark on this journey of self-discovery, you're not alone. We're all navigating these complexities, seeking those moments of true peace and happiness.
Absolutely. And the wisdom of this ancient poem reminds us that it's an ongoing journey, a continuous process of learning and growth.
We hope this deep dive into Hymn 17 have given you some food for thought. Perhaps it's even sparked a curiosity to explore other ancient wisdom traditions and see what insights they hold for you.
Yeah, these timeless teachings offer valuable perspectives on the human experience. Their wisdom can guide us towards a more fulfilling and meaningful life, no matter what challenges we might be facing.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep seeking those nuggets of wisdom that can enrich your life.